Okay, everybody, let me just do a quick introduction, and Robbie can, so that the people that get this in recording can get the full value. We have Rob Fountain today. He's my counterpart in Northwest Atlanta, and has been very successful with the Fathom Offers program. He and I have talked. He's a good guy. If you're a Bama fan, you don't like him because he's from Georgia and is a Georgia fan, but the rest of us, it's okay. Rob is going to talk a little bit about the success and how they've worked Fathom Offers. Now, Rob will tell you there's no guarantee with all this, but this is another thing that gives us an ability to do things for our clients and look out for our clients in just another way. So, Rob, take it away.
All right, great. Welcome, everybody. Listen, I want to talk a little bit about what Fathom Offers is, what it means to you. We talked a little bit about the growth that we've seen at Fathom just before we got on the recording. And as our company grows, we are giving our agents more and more tools to gain more clients. So when Fathom Offers came out, they came to us to do I guess a case study on, let us try it out to see what we thought of it. And when they came to me in a period, this was towards the beginning of last year, they came to us in a period when the market was going nuts, and you put a house on the market and it's sold immediately with multiple offers. So I'm thinking, this is a great tool if we're in a down market, we don't have a lot of buyers, but how do I use this tool to get more clients? And so I really struggled with it, because I know, and y'all probably know, or at least I thought I knew, that iBuyers, which are the buyers that are in Fathom Offers, they don't usually offer market price or over for homes. So the best thing for us to do for our clients is to put this out on the market, on the open market, and not use the iBuyer program now, because historically they haven't paid market prices for homes. So I thought, wow, this is a great tool to teach our folks here in Georgia. So we started teaching our folks how to use it. It's a great platform and a great program, but I kept struggling with, how is this going to help me other than it's another tool in my tool belt? So what Fathom Offers allows you to do is it allows you guys to get multiple offers on properties prior to going on the market. You're kind of testing the market a little bit with these national iBuyers. So I figured I'd give this thing a shot and see what it works. And so what I've done today is I've put together a little presentation of what Fathom Offers is, basically it's a case study of 3 deals that I've sold to iBuyers in the past 7 months. And I think you'll be impressed, surprised, maybe even excited about how this process works and what some of these iBuyers are willing to pay for these homes. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I was struggling with how I was going to use this in my business, and I realized, look, I can go out and talk to individuals and talk to them about getting offers on their home without them even going on the market. So in order to get offers from iBuyers or from Fathom Offers, you need to have a signed listing agreement. You take basically cell phone photos, and I'll show you some of my photos. You'll take cell phone photos of the home, interior, exterior. Some of the iBuyers want to see videos, so you may want to take a few videos. But basically, you go out, you get them to sign a listing agreement, and then you plug it into this platform. They never have to go on the MLS. They never have to show their house. So, and they could get as many as 5 or 10 offers. It just all depends on the appetite of the iBuyers in your market. Now, one thing I'll say about the Atlanta market's exploding. I'm sure you guys are probably seeing something similar, maybe not as vigorous as it is here, but we're seeing prices rise across the nation right now. I want to throw a curveball in there. Some of my offers came from Zillow before they went out and stopped doing iBuyers, and I think you'll see why they stopped doing it when you see one of the case studies.
Hey, Rob.
Yes,
Rob,
sir. Yes, sir.
So one of our agents just had a listing and just had a buyer that they put in an offer $80,000 over list, and they were not competitive. So our market is, I would say we're probably ranked in the top
Okay.
4, 5, or 6 in the nation right now.
That's awesome. One thing you want to keep in mind is the iBuyers look at a scope of where they want to be, and they make a determination on what areas they want to be in. So some of you guys may be in an area that may or may not be of the appetite of the iBuyers. So you may not get as many offers, or you may not get any, or you could get 10. I have not been able to find a rhyme or reason, because some of my offers are way outside of the Atlanta market. A couple of hours from the airport, one's an hour from me, and that seemed to be a hotter area than right here locally. Some of the homes that you run into may not be in the appetite of the iBuyers. If it's a $600,000 or $700,000 or $800,000 home, you're probably not going to get as competitive an offer in those scenarios. So
That's the average price in some of our areas, Rob. So just to give you an idea, our low is low average for a 4-bedroom is 400,000. In Arlington, a 4-bedroom is 1.3 million average.
Wow, what an awesome market to be in. Now, having said that, because all the houses out in that area, the iBuyers may have an appetite. Here's the thing that Mark said earlier: there's no guarantee. We don't know what these iBuyers are going to buy, and you won't know until you plug it into the system. And once you plug it into the system, you will see what the appetite of the iBuyers are, and you have the opportunity to give those offers to your clients and see if they are interested in taking this offer or going on the open market. Now, some of you might say, well, Rob, why can't my client just go to Zillow? Well, your client certainly can do that. But I would tell that client, why don't you let me put Zillow, Open Door, and all these other iBuyers up against each other and let them compete for your offer? Because if you send your offer or send your home in for evaluation on each of those, they're going to think you're working on your own, and you're not going to get as good a deal. And that is the truth. So, so when you get the objection, well, I can go to Open Door and submit my house and kind of kick you out of that. Well, I'm sorry, but I can get these folks to compete for your house and get you a lot more money in most cases. So with that, what I'd like to do, and I do want you guys to ask questions afterwards. I'm going to go through 3 case studies that are homes, and we're going to follow them from offer, acceptance, and in 2 cases, the resale of the property from the iBuyer. So you'll actually see 3 deals that I did on my own. We're going to start with a home that I had purchased myself. It was a rental property in Temple, Georgia, which is an hour away from me. It's kind of out in the sticks a little bit. And that area has struggled for years in the past. And what we'll do is we'll look at some comps, and we'll look at the pricing structure that I went through and what my thought process was. And then we'll look and see what the iBuyers decided to offer for those properties. And then we'll walk through those processes, and afterwards I'll answer as many questions as I can. And we'll see we'll see if this is something that you guys want to. I actually think it's something you should use, because you're giving your clients a little bit extra when it comes to listing and selling their house. So what I'm going to do is share this screen real quick and get to my presentation. Beautiful, that worked. All right. Why is Fathom offers a tool? Now, if you look here on the screen, you've got an open market, a Fathom trades, and an instant offers. All right, this is the Zavvy platform. We have partnered with Zavvy. And one thing I'll say about Zavvy is their customer service is incredible. I get emails from them asking if I've received any offers. They're always there and available to help and ask if you ask questions. All of the case studies that we're going to do today are instant offers. With an instant offer, my client has the opportunity to get multiple offers and a closing date set in the future, up to 90 days in the future, in some cases with some iBuyers even longer. I have not done Fathom trades, and obviously open market sales are open market sales, but Fathom trades may be an alternative for your client as well. Basically, it's kind of like a ribbon program, which we also have access to. If y'all haven't plugged into ribbon, but they'll help you buy the house before you sell the home, and there is a charge involved. I don't have any experience with using Zabby in this scenario yet. So everything today is instant offers. So what we're going to do is go through a case study. And Mark, I'm able to share my screen, but oh, there we go. So this is the house in Temple, Georgia. This was a rental property that I had purchased. The tenant had lived in the home for 5 years. The home needs a new roof. Before I hit the market, it was going to need a new roof. It was going to need paint on the interior. Obviously, the bushes needed to be cut back. And I figured the cost of me to enter the market was going to be out of pocket somewhere plus or minus $7,000 to get this property set up to put on the market to sell at a top price in the market. The funny thing about this house, and when y'all see the prices on this house, y'all, because of the area that you're in, you're going to be kind of surprised. But what I did is I took let me hide y'all's photos here. I'm wanting to. All right, so what I did here is I did a comparison analysis of basically a market analysis on the neighborhood. This is all the neighborhood of Courthouse Park. And we have a high sell of 210, a low sell of 93. The average is right at 170. One of the things is this high sell house had granite countertops. It was super sharp, had a lot of upgrades, and was a really nice house. So I figured, okay, the market's booming here. I could probably get possibly 211 out of this property, seeing that I've got a comp that had sold in 5/14/2021 right here for 210,000. It sold for 7% above list price. It was on the market for 2 days. So even if I sell it for 230, I may not be able to get it to appraise. So this house in this neighborhood, in an area where there's not a lot of neighborhoods, I may have a tough time for it selling over 211. So I went ahead and put this property in the system at 209, and look at the offers that I got from Zillow and Open Door. I got a $245,000 offer from Zillow. I got a $240,000 offer from Open Door. And I had several other people that offered on the property. I think I had 7 total offers on this property. When we go back over here and look, you and I both know that that house is not going to appraise for $240,000. So this was my first opportunity to test out the iBuyer platform at Fathom Offers. And I was very skeptical because I figured, okay, I'm going to accept a $240,000 offer, $245,000 offer. They're going to take a 1% service fee. They were going to pay 3% commission because this was my home. I didn't have to pay that commission. And so the cost of selling was much lower than this by this amount here. But what my concern was is that they're going to do an inspection on this property in the next week. And then they're going to come back and hit me with $40,000 in repairs. Or they're going to hit me with some crazy number that may knock me below this number here. And so I had a moment there. Did someone have a question? No, okay. I had a moment there where I was like, okay, this is too good to be true. What do they tell you when things are too good to be true? They usually are.
Я подсоединила наушники.
Mark, I'm gonna let you grab that mute button. So here is this is a continuation of the first sheet. This tells me who are going to be in contact with me for an offer. And it also tells me who declined to make offers on the property because it didn't hit their sweet spot, so to speak. So obviously I took the $245,473 offer, and I went forward with the process of the inspection. So being the curious person I am and wanting to know more about this, I knew when the inspection was taking place. So I went out and I wanted to put a face to the number that they had for this address. I wanted the inspector to put my face with my name. And I wanted to ask him some questions. What does Zillow plan to do with this home? And he says, oh, they plan on turning around and selling it. And under my breath, I chuckled because I was like, there's no way that they're going to sell this house for more money than what they're buying it for. It's absolutely impossible, in my opinion. So I was very surprised at that. And I also was still expecting a major discount. To my surprise, let's see what the next. Here is the actual sale price of the house. They only asked for $776 in concessions. There's the 1% service fee, and that's the county taxes. I sold the house for $245,473, and my net was less this amount here. This number here blew my mind. And for the longest time up until closing, I figured, how in the world are these people going to close on this? They got to come to their senses. Well, they didn't. And now we know why Zillow did not succeed in the iBuyer program and why they stopped doing iBuys. So we're going to follow this property through. All right. Zillow bought the house from me for $245,473. They ended up selling it for $208,000. This is why Zillow failed. So keep that in mind. Now, y'all are saying, well, why are you showing me this? Well, you got to remember, I had another offer up here for this number here from Open Door. Open Door is still in the business. The next two properties in my case study, I believe, were sold to Open Door. So what we're going to do is go to case study number 2 and give you the story behind this. This was actually the youth minister at our church. This is their house. They bought this house 10/13 of 2020, and they needed to sell it before they owned it for a complete year. He needed to return to Chicago with his 2 small kids, and they needed to sell the home, literally being in the home for like 10, 11 months. So I figured, yeah, this one's going to be interesting. They bought the house for $270,195. All right, that was the walkout one at the closing. So I told him, I said, look, I said, we could go on the open market. The market's crazy right now. I knew we were going to get somewhere around this number right here, 316. Because of the way the market was going, I just knew that that was going to be about the number if we were to hit the open market. But you can see how these prices have risen over the course of the building. It was a brand new neighborhood. So we went from 268 to 316, and pretty much the houses were a lot alike. So I told him, I said, Justin, I can put this in the Fathom offers program. You don't have to show your house. You don't have to put it on the market. You won't have strangers coming through here. You won't have to leave for showing appointments. And we'll see what the offers are and make a decision at that point. Do we go on the open market, or do we take an iBuyer offer? So we decided to, it's not going to hurt to see what they're going to give us. So we decided to go on the Fathom offers platform. And on this one, I got one offer from OfferPad. Nobody else offered on the property, which I was kind of surprised, but then again, I wasn't, because the house was only 10 months old, 9 months old. It was a brand new home. My offer came in at $334,200. If you remember, I was thinking I was going to get $316 out of it. All right. they had to pay a fee. But here, this offer with OfferPad is structured a little bit differently, because OfferPad at the time, and they may still offer this, if the house didn't go on the FMLS and wasn't marketed up for sale and no open houses, they would give you a 3% referral fee right here. Oh, let me go back. They would give you a 3% referral fee. So if it had been on the market, or it didn't follow these rules and regs, you're going to get a 1% referral fee. So I knew that this was a possibility, and I prepared not to put it on the market, to get my Fathom offers in and back before I put it on the market. And I received a 3% referral fee from OfferPad. And with that 3% referral fee, what I was able to do, I had given the youth minister a discount of 1% to list his home. So instead of doing it for 6, I told him I would do it for 5, and I would pay up to 3% in the to a buyer's agent if a buyer agent was there. Now, keep in mind that I wrote this contract to go on the open market. And so if Fathom offers didn't work out, I was going to go up on the open market. I was going to give up 3% of my commission, charge him 5, thank him for his business, and he'll send me people for the rest of his life. So with Fathom, or with Fathom offers and OfferPad paying me a 3% referral fee, what I was able to do is go back to Justin and say, Justin, your commission's only going to be 3%, not 5%. So I gave the client the discount, but I also took an extra percentage. So I ended up walking with a 3% commission on a deal that I was prepared to walk with 2%. Because I got him more, I felt that's fair. So I decided, and they've signed a commission agreement for 5% with Fathom. So I figured that's fair all the way around. They were ecstatic about me giving them a 2% discount. So this house, and with Open Door, a lot of times people think that they can't negotiate. So this house was less than a year old. It had one small child that was rambunctious, is probably the best word to use. He messed up a couple of walls, but it was really a lot of scuffs and just pitter patter stuff. There were a couple of things that they found on the roof. The inspection that OfferPad did was probably the most detailed, pitter pat, picky nicky inspection I've ever seen. So I got on the phone, and with all of these Zillow, OfferPad, Open Door, whoever, you have an account executive that's working with you. And they're kind of like the co-agent on the other side, except they work as an employee for the company. And I got on the phone with the agent. I said, look, this is probably the most nitpicky inspection I've ever seen. The house is less than a year old. There are some nicks and scuffs that a magic eraser can probably do. I don't think they need to paint the whole house. Well, they asked us for $10,000 in concessions off the price. And I told my client, yeah, we can meet them halfway and go ahead and walk. I still think we're doing good from the way the comps look, because nothing had sold that high yet in the neighborhood, and the houses were in the process of still being built. So we went back to them with a counter offer, and we did a $5,000 negotiation for interior paint, sheetrock damage, and clean and remove stains from carpet. So my client gave up $5,000, and here you see something hopefully all of you guys are familiar with. I was able to get a 3% commission on this instead of a 2%, and really didn't have to do a lot of the expenses that I normally have to do when I list a home with open houses and all of that. So that was a case study number 2. Let's see what I got here. Oh, yeah, I like to follow these houses and show you what happened to them after the fact. This one kind of blows my mind. When we sold this house to Open Door, the highest comp in the neighborhood was 316. We got in at 334. And I thought, wow, we did a really good job. So what ended up happening, literally 2 months later, this house goes on the market for $359. Must have had multiple offers on it. At $359, I would have still felt really okay with the sale price, but the sale price was $380,000. It was on the market for 1 day, right here, days on market, and sold for 106% of asking price. Obviously, that was likely a cash offer with no appraisal contingency or an appraisal gap coverage. I still call this a win because I don't know that I would have gotten that offer 2 months earlier. But my client was happy with the offer. They bought the house for, what did they buy it for? $270. They bought it for $270, sold it for $334. But this one in my book is a wash. It's not really a win. It's not really a loss. It was the best opportunity we had at the moment. We don't know what would have happened had we gone on the open market, but everybody was happy at the time. Case study number 3. This is Linda Lane, had a tenant in it for over 10 years. This earlier in the, this was a property that I managed. And we talked a little bit about that prior to starting the recording, but this owner wanted to sell the home. And so we asked the tenant to move. The tenant had lived in the home for 10 years. It was heavily lived in. It had siding falling off of it. You see, it had trees overgrown around it. It needed help everywhere. On this one, the roof was just a few years old. So it did have a new roof. To give you an idea on the square footage, this is a really tiny house. To your right of this picture here, to the top right picture, is a master bedroom. Just around the corner, this bookcase here is the kitchen. It's kind of like a hall kitchen. You have a bedroom here, and a bathroom there. That's the entire house. The house had been worn. You can see wear and tear, linoleum floors, roof damage from the past that never was fixed. This here is the master bedroom, which is this bedroom here. These are the actual pictures that I sent in for the Fathom offers. So we had, I went out to the home and met the tenant, explained to her that the owner was gonna put the home on the market. The market's too good right now for him to pass this opportunity up. And it explained to her that we're going to give her as much time as possible to move out of the home. So I went in and did a comp analysis on this one. To my surprise, the high sell in the neighborhood was 199. You see here, I don't have a lot of comps in this neighborhood. So that affected me a little bit. The low sell was 170 with an average of 186. The house needed a lot of work. I mean, it needed new siding, it needed new carpet. If we go back and look, you see this carpet separating here, it's bunching here. I mean, that's a rip. So we got another offer from Zillow on this house. Zillow offered, I put it in the system at 199. All right, because that's what the comps were telling me. Zillow gave me an offer of $246,000 on this property. I was blown away again. And I told my client, we need to take this offer. We also got an open door offer on this same property. It just came in separately because they didn't come in on the same day. So this one was 8.6 and this was 7.30. So a little behind the story on this one, we had an iBuyer call me and offer me a much lower price than 225, and we didn't accept it. Obviously, my client took the Zillow offer, so we set it up for inspection. And the day of the inspection for this Zillow offer here, the sewer, the septic system decides to be full and back up and run into the house. So the Zillow inspector called me and said, hey, we probably shouldn't do this inspection today. What we want you to do is get this mess cleaned up and give us a call back, and we'll put in another offer on the property. So I said, okay, called the owner. Owner was upset, obviously, because this is going to cost him money. So we ended up getting the septic system repaired. And I go back into the Fathom offers portal to get Zillow to give me a new offer. And Zillow suddenly didn't want to buy a house in this area. Lo and behold, they were halting buying houses everywhere. So my client lost a $246,000 offer because of the septic system backup. So we move on, and I call Open Door, and Open Door still wants to buy the home. They gave us an offer of 225, not 246, but it's the only thing we had on the table that we could use. And so the owner decides to take this Open Door offer, still $26,000 over what I would have been able to put it on or felt comfortable putting it on in the open market in the condition that it was in. So what ended up happening, let's see. What ended up happening on this one, we went through the inspection process, and the owner was prepared. Anytime you have a house that has some damage or needs repairs, you want to prepare the owner that this initial offer is not the final offer. They're going to come and ask for money off. So they did ask for $11,000 off, which I thought was actually kind of light given the repairs that were needed. This was another situation where Open Door paid me a 3% referral. On this particular listing, I had a 6% listing, and I was able to give the seller a 2% discount, and I ended up selling this home and taking 3% commission from OfferPad and 1% commission. So I got a 4% total commission. Y'all see down here, For Rent Management Corporation, that's my rental company that I run through, and the company pays my company. So I was missing a couple of slides here, or at least thought I had, but evidently they're not in this. So those are the three case studies that we had, and I'm going to figure out how to stop sharing my screen and pull you guys back up. So those are the three case studies that I've done. Those are actually deals that I did myself. And what I found out is OfferPad, Open Door, Zillow when they were in the game, and some of these other places are going to pay market or better prices for these homes. So if you have a situation where you've got a distressed property, it doesn't hurt to have those homes or have those offers in your client's hands to make a sale prior to going on the market. In a couple of cases, it worked out really well for my clients. In one, maybe not. But at the time, it was the best decision we had on the table. And I was the agent that brought that opportunity to that client to put that house on the market without them going through any hassle whatsoever. And in the end, from the sale price and the commission standpoint, I actually saved them some money. So that is the case studies that I've had go through. I currently have one house that's in Macon, Georgia, in the Fathom Offers platform right now. I was hoping to get an offer in before this presentation, but it hasn't happened. And I may be a little bit concerned that it may not happen. This house was worse than the last house that I just showed you, a lot worse. So that is the case studies. What questions do you guys have about Fathom Offers? And do you think this is a tool that you could use? And is there somehow you guys see this as a tool that I may not have seen? Some input. Chime in if somebody asks some questions. Crickets. Either I explained it so well that y'all have no questions, or y'all are just a quiet group.
Are y'all mesmerized or what?
They're probably bored stiff. There might be somebody talking that don't have that microphone on.
Hey, hey, Rob, this is Jen Warner. I've got a quick question for you.
Sure, Jen.
When working with one of these iBuying groups, do you find it you're at any risk of delayed settlement? I mean, they're running inspections pretty quickly.
No, the inspections were within 7 days in both cases. Well, in all cases, they moved pretty quickly. You can think of this in two ways. This can be a much quicker sell than going on the open market. You don't run the risk of losing a buyer because of financing and all of those pitfalls. But there's also a benefit here that you can get an offer on a home and you can delay closing up to 90 days and have an opportunity to do more shopping than you would from possibly a traditional offer, unless you negotiated for an extended stay after contract or an extended period to closing. So in all cases, I was very impressed, one, with the professionalism of the parties, Open Door and Zillow, and the responsiveness and the customer service. It was all really good. Now, having said that, there are dozens of other iBuyers out there that I haven't used. I happen to sell these homes to some of the biggest ones in the platform. There are probably some out there that might be a nightmare. Be prepared, but anything could be a nightmare in real estate. You know that.
Hey, Rob, Jim Hobbs asked how best to insert this into a listing presentation.
It's a layup, to be honest with you. Hey, look, we don't have to go on the market. I can get you offers in 3-4 days, and you can compare those offers and make a decision from that point. So what you need to do is do a really good comp analysis on your neighborhood and know what the prices are. And look, one of these houses was my house. So obviously I want to get as much as possible out of that home. I never thought in the world that I'd get 245. So what you want to do is do a comp analysis on what you would actually prepare them to go on the open market for right now, knowing that we could get multiple offers. That's always a possibility in the current market. But for you to go into a listing presentation and say, hey, you don't have to do anything to the home. I can get you 4 or 5 offers while I'm waiting on professional photos. We'll take a look at them and see what these iBuyers are willing to buy. We know across the nation, some of these iBuyers are willing to pay a premium for these homes to build up their stock in the area. For the longest time, I didn't know what Zillow was doing. I still don't know what they were doing. I realize now that they didn't know what they were doing. But Open Door and these other companies were competing with them, and it looked like they were just going to duke it out at the top and run themselves out of money. For the longest time, I thought they were just trying to lose money to save on taxes or something. I didn't know. So long story short is, home seller, I can give you an opportunity to get several offers and we can take a look at them. Here's what I recommend you go on the open market for. If we can't beat that or get close to that, limit your hassle of selling a home. It can't hurt anything. And then I want you to remember, if they go into, well, why can't I just go to Zillow? Mr. Seller, I'm going to get them to compete for your house. It's an open auction for them, and they know that when they pull it from that platform, they are competing with other iBuyers, so they better bring their A game. If you go buy your house, buy it on your own, you're just a lonely home seller with no advice. They're going to try to take advantage of it. Or you may not say they're going to try to, there's a possibility that you could be taken advantage of. Probably the best way to phrase it. Good questions.
Well, what do you guys think about this as a possibility?
Hey, Mark, it's Mike Duffy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, Mike.
Yeah, listen, I haven't been around that long and haven't had, I've been with Mark like my 3rd year and haven't really got into distressed properties. But one thing that happened during 2022 was the market, as everybody knows, the market was nuts in my neighborhood, and my broker made me sell like every house in sight. So I even had to buy more damn signs. But Rob, one thing you said was applicable, and that was, what do you do when a realtor from another company comes up to you and says, "Hey, Duffy, you're selling all these houses. You got any more coming in the future?" And I did, but it wasn't in the market yet. And the realtor said, "Well, again, this goes back to what you said, Rob. Things that aren't in the market." And we had to come up with a price. And I went to the seller and said, "What do you think?" He said, "Well, Mike, I'm not ready. We haven't gotten that house for us yet." I said, "Well, they really," and then all of a sudden the other realtor said, "Hey, Duffy, I'll give you a price now on the house." They hadn't even seen it yet. Okay. We went in and I had all the paperwork ready for the seller to do it, to instantly list it with the price agreed. We couldn't do it because the seller just felt uncomfortable about not having a house to move into. But where the market's so nuts, that buyer went elsewhere. And then 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, we had to sell. The seller had been through the exercise of, what market would bear. And I got a broker in there and he said, "What's it going to take to sell the house?" I kicked it up another grand as to what the first buyer was going to do. And the house sold in 2 or 3 days. So again, these are not distressed houses, but it was a selling kind of tactic that I just shared because it happened to me.
Yeah, on when you say distress level, this is not only for distressed homes. This is all homes. Like the one in the middle, case study number 2 was a home that was less than a year old, so it was in really, really good shape.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the first one was minorly distressed. It was average for the neighborhood. The last one was pretty distressed. So I wouldn't look at this as only a distressed.
Okay.
I would say look at this as a tool. When you go out and you get your listing agreement, you're going to have a gap in between the listing agreement and professional photos, most likely.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days, whatever it is, before you actually hit the market. Why don't you let me do this for you and see what comes back? You don't have to say yes, and it doesn't cost you a penny. And Mike, it takes me less than 15 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes to enter all the information, because I've already gone out and got stuff. I've gotten ready for a complete listing in most of these cases. And all I have to do is go into that platform and answer maybe 15 questions: bedrooms, bathrooms, what type of countertops, what type of floorings in the kitchen, what type of floorings in the living room. Just really simple stuff that you can realize just from photos. So while you're there at the home, take photos with your cell phone. And guys, we're a company that continues to give you tools. We've got a cell phone app that's coming out that's supposed to give you professional quality photos. And you can use that app if you want to get those photos done. And then you may not have to hire a professional photo if they come out really good. But that's just another trick. We try to give you a lot of tools in your tool bag.
Hey, Mike, one of the things that I thought of with this, when you were saying it, is the good way to, with now that you've been through this and you understand it and all, be able to go to them when he said, I'm just not ready. Well, let's see what comes out of this, and we can delay settlement for 90, 120 days and let you find your property. And you're in good shape at that point. So that's where it could very well be a good tool for you to, when Jim, you were asking as far as putting that in your listing presentation, Jim Hobbs, that again, if you get somebody that says, well, I got to sell, especially if they say, well, I got to sell, but I can't find a house, what's going to happen? Well, here's the deal. And I'm actually talking to one of my clients about this. If they go on this program and they can delay settlement for a while, then they still have the ability, they still get a good price that's without people traipsing through their house and doing the other things, and they get a delayed settlement.
All right, we got a question from Jim on, does this mean we can advertise to buy your house like the other companies such as uglyhouses.com does? Ooh, Mark, that's going to be a state broker rule. You got to be very careful with that.
So I would warn against that. what I would do is I would be able to, in the advertising and your promotion, say, we also, we have options. If your house is in distress or you don't want to do work, we have possible options for you to where you won't have to do the work and still get a buyer.
Absolutely.
Can I say something, Rob?
Sure, Viva, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually, this came up.
Uh-oh, we lost your sound.
Viva, we can't hear you.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. Gotcha.
okay. Yeah, it just feels like, are we creating a long-term shortage for regular buyers to own homes instead of like making an investor richer from already being rich? So that just feels a little bit uncomfortable in my mind, unless there is a specific situation that the seller is in where this may end up being a good fit. I would probably not be conscientiously be able to use this frequently on everything. It seems like the agent is benefiting from the 3% commission, obviously, for doing little. They're still making an offer like a regular buyer and then pulling out for inspections and then going ahead selling it for so much more money later on. I don't know, it just feels like, if we have young kids, for instance, we're making real estate more unreachable for them because now it's in the hands of an investor and not a regular buyer. That just feels like me.
Viva, I'd love to answer that for you. So in 2 of these cases, the seller did great. All right. And so what we're hired to do is what is best for our client. That's and the only way we can do what's best for our client is give them the tools to decide what's best for them. If the price is right and the timing is right, and they have agreed to it, that you've done a good job and brought this offer to the table, then what was best for the seller, they chose what was best for them. That is true. I had no idea, and nor do I know, had I put the middle house out on the market, that I would have gotten anywhere close to the 280 mark. All right. So they originally listed it at 259. So it went over market value. They didn't even think they were going to get it. All right. So it was originally listed at 259. So if you take the 259 and then you take out 5% commissions, or 359, you take out the 5% commissions, you're right at what they offered, they accepted. So not even the buyer thought that they would get what they got. I understand all of this, Zillow's taking over the world and all. Guys, these iBuyers take so little of the market share. It's really nominal overall. It's such a small percentage.
And I think, yeah. And Rob, I think that was one of the things that we found out in the training that you and I had on this when Fathom initially did it. Yeah. I think out of all the homes sold, it's like 1 or 2% of all homes sold are sold to iBuyers. And I understand your concern, Viva, that we don't want to price new home buyers out of the market. What I will tell you is that people are already being priced out, so to speak. I mean, when you look at some of the average prices that we have throughout the area, and I'm actually going to put some slides up for everybody on some analysis that I did. But when it comes down to it, these are not necessarily investors, although they are investors, but there are people that are turning around, and if they're willing to pay that price that the normal person is not, able to pay, like Rob said, we're looking for our client. There's still value out there, and there's still such a small piece of the pie that's being bought by these iBuyers. Okay. I don't know how long this is going to last. Okay. I truly don't. Will it be a great deal in a down market? I think it probably will, because in a down market, we may be able to get people, the iBuyers to buy when there aren't as many buyers out there. But again, like Rob said, this is a tool that hopefully we're able to promote to our clients who may, especially in the time of COVID, because people are still running scared at times. Hey, let's see what we can get. And you won't have people coming through your house, or, especially if you have small kids in the house, or, big pets or things along these lines, people may see that as an option. Now, they don't sign the contract to purchase until they've been through a couple of steps. That's one of the things that, they get an offer, then the inspection comes in, then they say what they want. At that point, when our clients sign on the dotted line, that's the commitment. There's no commitment between putting it into the Fathom offers platform and after the offers are submitted, the inspection's done, and the final offer is made. There's no commitment that our sellers can go, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Let's see, I've seen the prices go up. So you have options. It's just giving them an additional option in the sale. And if they don't like the price, they don't like the conditions, it's okay. It goes on the market.
That additional option is something other agents don't give right now. In the
Is there a
future, we'll
chance-
see.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Is there a chance that there's any fine print that when we're reading these offers we'll miss and it turns out like it just bombs on somebody? Like that also is something that I'm fearful of.
Yeah, I can show you an offer. It's pretty straightforward. It's a standard Zillow contract that they use across the nation. In some cases, one of the companies used a GAR form. So, for Georgia, they used a GAR form, which is the Georgia Association of Realtors. I haven't seen or felt anything nefarious or that are trying to pull something over on us. I really expected more negotiations after the inspection period, because they'll lock it up for 7 days and then try to hit you hard. But you can negotiate with them on that too. And I've successfully negotiated. Look at this as an extra tool. Basically what you're bringing is a little bit of icing on the cake to your clients. And if you hit one of these really good offers, like the first one or the last one, they may be silly not to take it. And then if you go out on the open market, the only person that's going to hurt is going to be you, because they're going to pay less, but you've got an agreement with your client to pay you X amount. So it's really not going to affect you at all.
Hey,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I look at this as another option that I'm one of the best in my business here in Georgia, because I have more tools than any other agent out there right now. I've got Ribbon, I've got Fathom Offers, I've got IntelliAgent, I've got more tools than other agents have, and I bring that to the client's table. And ultimately, the client is the one that decides whether or not they go with the offer.
Hey, Rob, could you, Jen
Yes, sir.
Warner posed a question. Could you take a look at that, please?
Yeah, I feel like some of it was just answered. Like the first one was, were all the service and convenience fees clearly disclosed?
Absolutely. In fact, I wish if I was quick enough, I'd flip back to, but in the initial offer, everything that was situated on that one page where I had the offer price,
Yeah.
everything stayed exactly where that was.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't just a snippet and there was
Yeah,
something else
look,
embedded somewhere.
They've really changed professionally in the iBuyer realm, because they realize that, one, we're kind of an asset to them, because we have access to most of the houses. We got 98% of the listings come through real estate agents. So it's just like a builder in a local area. When builders want to take good care of the agents because they want you to bring them clients, because you've got most of their clients. So in this situation, in the old days, when it was 2009, 10, 11, 12, when it was all low ball, that's completely changed. My whole perception of this was, I really don't want to get a bunch of low ball offers for my client. So I'm going to try it out on my own house. And I was blown away. So I realized that these people are, and we talked about this with Viva a minute ago, these people are paying market or more for these homes. And it is a good thing for my clients because they can have up to 90 days to help find them another home. You know, there's also that Fathom trades that somebody needs to explore out there that I think would be a good option, possibly for one of the other situations we talked about. I think it was Mike was talking about his client had they couldn't find another home. So why don't they do a Fathom trades and see what that cost is? So.
Okay, can I ask a quick home inspection?
Absolutely. I've blocked more than an hour for this, and as long as Mark is okay with it, I'm good with it.
I'm fine, especially so just a quick introduction. I was going to introduce Natalia too, but Jen is new to Fathom. She is a friend and a fantastic agent. So knock yourself out, ask whatever questions you
Awesome.
want.
Welcome, Jen.
Hey, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So my other question is, going back to the third case study with the house with the septic.
Yes.
Have you found when they bring their inspectors, or are they bringing a slew, or are they doing a well inspection, a septic inspection where they want to dig up and look at distribution boxes? Are they doing separate roof and flue and chimney, radon? Are they really tackling the house, or is it just one guy, one team coming in and one fell swoop?
It's one, to my knowledge, one guy, one team, one fell swoop.
Okay.
The offer pad one for the middle house that was brand new, the most incredibly detailed inspection report I've ever seen.
Right.
The last house was basically, we want X amount off of the purchase price or in seller concessions, and we gave it to them because it was much more than we could have gotten in the open market. You know, one of the other things that, you know, we keep in mind with these case studies and scenarios is that the seller doesn't have to put a bunch of money in the home before they go on the market. And that may be a benefit in and of itself, because you've got a seller, if the seller puts 15 or 20,000 or 5,000 or whatever in, that's going to raise the price and may price them out of the market. So there's a lot of advantages to this. And we're talking about this crazy market right now. This system is working in some cases, not every case. But, you know, as time changes and the appetite of the market changes, this may be a completely opposite conversation that we're having, when it's better to sell to the iBuyers because there's no buyers out there. This is a tool that I've realized can possibly work in any market as long as the iBuyers are willing to make it work. And when I say willing to make it work, produce offers that are appetizing for the seller.
Yeah, I agree. Just looking for the other shoe to drop, because it all sounds really great.
Yeah, well, there is no shoe. So here, Jen, I know you're new to Fathom. We don't have another shoe. Once we put something out there, we've already tested it. Our goal as a company, and I speak for all the district directors, we want what's best for you. Our goal is if you're successful, we're all going to be successful. And what our goal is to produce as many technological tools and advances that we can for our agents. We test them. Like right now, our new IntelliAgent 2.0 has been tested out in Texas, I believe, for a couple of months before we bring it to you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm not questioning Fathom. It's just more questioning, I guess, the paperwork or the contracts or the loopholes with, someone like HomeGo or Open Door or Home Investors, that type of thing. That's all.
I get that. And you have to be aware, I say, read the contracts. Unfortunately, they don't all go on our contracts. And, you may run into some crazy inspection rules. Occasionally, if it falls on a weekend, it doesn't count as an inspection day or something like that. But you run into those all the time anyway, and that our job is to guide our client through those things.
And one of the things to look at is the fact that if you've ever represented a buyer who's buying a property that's through a relo like Cardus or one of the others. This appears to be less arduous in paperwork than even that. Yeah,
it is a simple process. And look, here's what I tell you guys: go and put your own house in it. That's what they told us to do. Go put your own house in it. See what happens. That's a great way for you guys to test it, maybe in your next meeting. Give your findings. That way you kind of, well, maybe you don't want your friends to know how much your house is worth, but that way you guys can test what the appetite is for the iBuyers there. And you may find out, you may be in an area where it may not be as great of a tool, but it's still a tool that helps you get a listing. And I had a guy in South Carolina. It was a referral from one of the clients that I sold here. In fact, case number 3. He referred his uncle to me in South Carolina. And so I called Dan Lang in South Carolina. I said, Dan, I said, put this guy in iBuyer program. Well, the guy said he had another agent. And I told him, I said, look, I said, you give us a 7-day listing. We'll put this house in the iBuyer program and we'll see what the offers are. So during that process, we both got to know the guy a little bit. He liked us. So his friend lost out on the listing that actually went to the open market. It was a condo situation. We weren't sure whether iBuyers were going to do condos, but something happened. I don't know the details, but the iBuyer situation didn't work out. But Dan Lang got a listing agreement with it, went out on the open market because we had a tool that his other agent that was his friend didn't have. And during the process of us talking through that iBuyer situation, we became friends. And we already had the list, we had everything ready. All we had to do was an amendment to the listing agreement. So that was a tool that we used to get a seller that was possibly going to go with another agent because we had the iBuyer program, or we had the Fathom offers program. All right, anybody else? Well, with that, I'll wrap up my portion. Thank you guys for sitting in and listening. Great questions. You know, we want you to use this as a tool and give you the best opportunity to gain listings in the future. And this is just a simple tool in your tool belt that you can talk about during your listing presentation that can help you get more listings. Fathom Wiki, go in and type in Fathom offers. There's training on Fathom offers. I swear if you go to the Fathom offers platform and put your own house in just for your own knowledge, you'll be amazed at how simple it is to get offers. Give that a try. I don't think that they would mind that at all if they can gain a customer out of it. So with that, I'm gonna hand it back to Mark and let him wrap up. Thank you, Virginia, for allowing me to come in. I hope it helped. And if you got any questions, I put my name and number and my email address in the chat box. You can also get it from Mark Warlow if you need it.
Okay. Hey, Rob, I'm just curious. Do you golf?
I've golfed twice in my whole life, maybe 3 times.
Well, I think you drained the putt on this one. That's the reason I was asking.
Is that a good thing?
Yes, it is. So,
well, I'd rather it be a hole in one.
So anybody have any other questions or anything that they need to say?
It's a great presentation, Mark, Rob.
All right.
Hey, thanks, guys. Hey,
Okay.
don't hesitate to call. Mark's your DD, but if you got a situation like this with something you've had other experience with, I'm sure Mark's okay, and I'm okay with you reaching out to me.
Yep.
I'm going to give you the best knowledge I can. One thing that I won't be able to speak on is Virginia law. I don't have a clue how y'all do things up there. I know it's a lot alike, but there's probably some nuances that I may not be familiar with.
Well, that's all I have. I'm going
Thank
to
you.
save this recording. Rob, can you send me the slides by any chance?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'll have this on Fathom Academy in the next couple of days. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome.